Oh, I'm just really realizing that my marriage is over and it's really bad. Oh, I'm really sad.
Even though I don't want to be with him anymore, there is a part of me that wants him to still want to be with me. And when I kind of think about like what gets me upset, or why am I so sad about certain things, of him wanting to also go through with the divorce, if I don't want to be with him. My problem is not that I don't value myself, or I don't have self-love. I think if I didn't, I would continue to be in this relationship. And I feel like this found awareness of myself and the self-love has brought me to this point of wanting to get the divorce and move on and find someone, or many someones, that fulfill me, more.
Sound like that man about to be free, and you can go out to the streets and find those many someones you want to find.
It is kind of sad and mostly pathetic that women in their 20s all the way through their 40s still act like children with uncontrollable tantrums. Amazing isn't, you're considered below them until they're out in the street realizing no one wants them anymore. The grass is only greener over the septic tank.
To this day, I can blame for how severely he screwed my life up. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't drink anything without feeling pain, true pain. And I get blamed for feeling this way. And it is just ridiculous how someone can hurt you so much. And just expect you to move on from it and not care and just move on like as if nothing happened. And I will never wish this pain on anyone.
First, men, 70 to 80% of the time, I would argue in relationships, it's probably similar. Men aren't leaving, women are. So to a guy's point of view, he's going to commit to this girl. And what does he get? He doesn't get purity anymore. These hoes. He doesn't get youth anymore. So he doesn't get either of those things. A lot of times she already has a kid. So he's not fulfilling his mating strategy. On top of that, even if he does find a good woman that maybe has the qualities he's looking for, she was going to want him to marry her. And what does he get out of that? Oh, she can leave and take half and take my kid. And she's paid to take my kids away from me. She gets more money if she takes my children. And so from the men's point of view, they're just kind of like, F it, because like women aren't wives nowadays. And what do they get out of it? But men are logical. They're logical people. And so they're thinking, does the benefit outweigh the cost? And like, I just think as women, we have to look at ourselves and say, the benefits we bring nowadays don't outweigh the cost for.
I genuinely do not even know how to begin talking about everything. I found out about the cheating after a really bad argument that we had. And in this argument, the things that he was saying didn't really correlate with the life that we were living. The year previous to me finding out about the cheating, we were trying to start a family. And we were very happy. We were accomplishing things that we never imagined of accomplishing. So we were living a very happy life. So I don't really know where it switched to being unhappy. The argument consisted of a lot of manipulation into making me believe that me asking for the bare minimum was unheard of and disgusting and something that I should have been ashamed of. I was so ashamed that I ended up writing him a 2-page letter, begging him for forgiveness. I read him this letter. He forgave me. And he just fell asleep so soundly that I knew that there was more to it, and I decided to go through his phone. When going through his phone, I found out everything. It was right in front of me, and I saw my world crumbling in front of me. It was messages between him and women. It was messages between him and his friends with screenshots of the conversations of him and women. It was voice recordings. It was Google translation, because he didn't know how to say it in English, so he was translating it into English so that it could make sense when he was flirting in English. And my whole life just flashed before my eyes. It was the most traumatic thing that I could have ever experienced. And when we chose to try to make it work, I thought we were both going to work, and it wasn't. I was spending my nights praying over him and begging God and pleading with God to repair my marriage, while he was continuously lying to me and still making a fool out of me in every way possible. He was not giving me any reasons to trust him. It was just not being reciprocated, and I was fighting alone. It all hit a climax when I found out more lies and more things that he was being untruthful about and unfaithful. And he looked at me in the eyes and he told me, I do not know how to respect you. I picked up my things, I left. And the hardest part, I thought at the time, was living with him, trying to repair my marriage while he just discarded me like trash. But in reality, it was restarting my life and from scratch. And it was very hard. And I made these videos not to post or for clout. I made them because I needed to heal. I needed to have something to hold on to and grasp and tell myself, you're going to be okay, and you're going to look at these and you're going to be fine. And that's exactly what this is. And it ends up that I'm not alone. And there have been many other women who, or men too, that are coming out and saying like, this has happened to me as well, and worse. It's shit. It's a shit process. It hurts. It's painful, but you grow and you get better. And while someone can destroy a part of your life, you're actually just starting a brand new book and a brand new chapter that has endless opportunities. So it's shit.
The quickest way to ruin a life is to make all your life choices based on your feels. It sounds like a lot of people never matured, and that's going to wreck a lot of lives.
To do? You need to get your own life. You need to cleave away from your husband, cleave away from your children. You're not just the grandma. You're not just the wife. Well, I did it. Here I am on my new bed, my princess bed. And you know what? I felt free. I felt so excited for the first time in years. I don't know, things aren't going that great.
I miss my family. I miss being a family. Maybe it's worth just staying miserable if you get your family.
Did you know that women leave men 80% of the time? If they're college educated, it's 90%. And one of the number one predictors of divorce is if the woman out-earns the man. This is the reality, guys.
I'm crying because my son is leaving. He's going to see his dad. And
An average woman wants a tall, handsome, wealthy, and attractive man. However, she typically fails to work on and improve her inner beauty, her personality, and character. In the end, what is on the inside ultimately manifests on the outside, and 99% of the time, this results in an entitled and ungrateful person who is self-centered and demands that the man grant her every wish for the rest of his life.
Worse, and then complaining that they're not getting enough of the man's money. And you're like looking at her like, you dingbat. First of all, nobody wants you out here on the dating market. I hate to break it to you. Like, what? Like, you FOMO'd at 50 and you got kids. Like, don't nobody want you. And then on the other side, it's like, you would have had more money if you stayed with him. Okay? If you file for divorce and you don't get a payout, the only people that are going to be advocating for you and being like, no, you need to take him, sis. Get him for everything. Like, those are some toxic women. Like, probably narcissistic women.
Social conditioning is incredibly harmful and potent. Modern women who fall for it will go to any lengths to protect the beliefs they hold dear. In actuality, they simply combine it with the information they've received from institutions, significant figures, and multinational corporations with little regard for the pleasure of women.
Please, please. My life has been torn upside down. We are a one-income household. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Please don't threaten, and please don't try to call my husband's place of work. You're just gonna get me worse.
Oh.
This is my life. And I never, in a million years, would have thought that this would blow up the way it did.
Well, it did. The community that was supporting this woman's cause, the feminine anger, wanted retribution, wanted revenge on her husband. Please, for the love of God, the earth, everything on it, and possibly your own outcomes, do not post your issues online.
Women are conditioned for instant gratification. They want instant happiness, wealth, fame, luxury, and comfort. They want perfection in men, while they hardly bring anything to the table except perhaps their physical selves.
90% of women do regret for filing up for divorce. Yes, you didn't want to live with this man, but you really deep in your heart were not ready for the divorce and for a breakup. The true reason why this breakup and divorce happened is because you didn't have energy to influence and impact your man. Because deep in our heart, ladies, we want all to change our men to be a better version of themselves. That's all we want. We are wired for that. However, the only way you can influence your man to change is by start working on yourself. Once you change, your man gonna start sooner or later changing and reflecting you. But please know, if you are right now putting all of your effort to change him, it's not gonna go well. He will just resist and you'll have more and more arguments.
You know, it is kind of sad and pathetic that women in their 20s through their 40s still act like children with uncontrollable tantrums. Amazing, isn't? You're considered below them until they're out in the street realizing no one wants them anymore. The grass is only greener over the septic tank.
What is a time where you felt that you failed that you learned a valuable lesson from?
That's such a hard question. Getting divorced was a big lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
How come? What happened?
For a long time, you know, like in your 20s and 30s, like getting married was a big goal, and I got married. And then I realized that that's not everything. Mm-hmm. And what I learned through being married was that knowing who you are, knowing your values, and knowing your non-negotiables is so much more important than anything else. Mm. It could be more important than the person that you love. And that was a huge lesson for me.
So do you think you didn't know yourself before getting married?
I think I didn't really know how important my values were to me before I got married.
What is true love like, in your opinion?
When I find out, I'll let you know.
Why did it not work, if you don't mind me asking?
Because I wanted it to work so much that I was willing to overlook aspects of him and myself that didn't align with my true values. And that's why it didn't work.
They always regret it, only when it's too late. When marriages end, usually some time has passed since the wedding. In fact, the average length of a marriage prior to divorce is 8 years. Divorce comes at a big cost, with couples spending an average of $7,000 to dissolve their union.
Women initiate about 75% of divorces. There are multiple reasons for that. What one reason is that women are higher in trait neuroticism. They're more sensitive to negative emotion. So they feel more units of negative emotion subjectively per unit of stress. That's a way of thinking about it. And so they get unhappy faster. The world is more dangerous for them in some sense physically, but I think more importantly, they are going to bear primary responsibility for dependent infants. And if you have an infant depending on you, you should react to the world as if it's more dangerous than you might if it was just you navigating through it.
Peterson said it himself. Women get unhappy faster than men. Divorce can have surprising and long-lasting consequences. One of those consequences is an increased risk of early death. Sadly, the mortality rate is 1,363 per 100,000 for divorcees compared with 779 per 100,000 for married couples. There you have it, guys. They initiate divorces and ruin not only their lives but also of their husbands and their kids, only to end up regretting it. May all men never meet such women. Amen. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.